Let's be honest for a second. Can you remember what life felt like before we had Jon Stewart to explain it to us? For a massive chunk of us, turning on the TV at 11 o'clock p.m. wasn't just about entertainment. It was a coping mechanism. It was therapy. We were living through wars, recessions, confusing elections, and a 24-hour news cycle that seemed determined to raise our blood pressure. And there, sitting behind a fake news desk, scribbling with a pen that didn't work, was a guy who looked just as confused and frustrated as we were. Jon Stewart. He wasn't just a comedian telling topical jokes. He became the most trusted man in America by pretending to be a newsman. But how did a guy from New Jersey, who started out hosting an MTV talk show, end up changing the trajectory of comedy, media, and even politics forever? Grab a coffee or something stronger, and let's dive into the moment of zen that was, and is, the Jon Stewart era. 1. He made it okay to call BS. Before Stewart took over The Daily Show in 1999, political comedy was safe. It was Jay Leno making a joke about a politician's hair, or David Letterman doing a top 10 list. It was funny, sure, but it didn't have teeth. Stewart changed the game because he wasn't just looking for the punchline, he was looking for the hypocrisy. Remember the indecision coverage? Stewart didn't just mock the politicians, he mocked the media covering the politicians. He held up a mirror to the 24-hour news networks and said, "Hey, you guys are making this worse." He treated the audience like we were smart. He didn't dumb it down. He assumed we knew what was going on, and he invited us to be angry with him. That emotional connection, that shared sense of, "Are you seeing this? Am I crazy, or is this crazy?" created a bond that traditional news anchors could never replicate. He validated our sanity in an insane world. 2. The crossfire moment. The mic drop heard round the world. If you want to pinpoint the exact second comedy changed forever, you have to look at October 15, 2004. Jon went on CNN's Crossfire, a show where pundits screamed at each other. The hosts thought Jon was there to be the funny monkey. Instead, he looked them dead in the eye and told them that their show was hurting America. He wasn't joking. He was pleading with them to stop. It was uncomfortable, it was raw, and it was absolutely electric. Shortly after, Crossfire was canceled. That was the moment we realized, this isn't just a comedy show. This is a cultural force. He proved that you could be funny and deeply, profoundly serious at the same time. He showed us that satire isn't just about laughing. It's about holding power accountable when the actual journalists fail to do so. 3. The Stewart School of Comedy, The Legacy Tree. Even if you never watched a single episode of The Daily Show, which, if so, we need to talk, you are consuming Jon Stewart's DNA every single day. Look at the comedy landscape today. It is almost entirely populated by the children of Stewart. He didn't just hoard the spotlight, he built a launchpad for the most brilliant minds in comedy. Just look at this roster. Steve Carell became a massive movie star, and Michael Scott, Stephen Colbert, took the satire to the next level and now rules late night. John Oliver, taking deep dive journalism and making it hilarious on HBO. Samantha Bee, broke glass ceilings in late night satire. Trevor Noah, successfully carried the torch for a new generation. These weren't just employees, they were students. Stewart taught them that comedy needs a point of view. He taught them that you punch up, not down. Every time you watch Last Week Tonight or The Late Show, you are seeing the ripples of Jon Stewart's influence. He created a dynasty of smart, empathetic, razor-sharp crusaders. 4. The heart behind the humor. Advocacy for 9/11's heroes. This is where it gets emotional. If Jon Stewart was just a funny guy, he'd be a legend. But he is a hero because of what he did when the cameras weren't looking for laughs. We all remember his monologue after 9/11. He was broken, crying, holding a pen, asking, "Are you okay?" It stripped away the celebrity veneer and showed us a human being in mourning. But he didn't stop there. Years later, when the first responders, the men and women who ran into the towers, were being denied health care benefits by Congress, Stewart went to war. He didn't use jokes, he used his platform. He walked the halls of Congress, shaming politicians who were ignoring the heroes. He gave testimony that was filled with righteous, trembling anger. He got the bill passed. That isn't comedy, that is character. It showed us that having a platform is a privilege, and you have a responsibility to use it for good. He taught us that caring about things isn't uncool. 5. The Return, Why We Still Need Him. When John left The Daily Show in 2015, it felt like a breakup. We understood why. He was tired, the world was heavy, but we missed him. We missed our voice of reason. Fast forward to 2024. The world is arguably louder, faster, and more confusing than ever. And then, the announcement came, he's back. Even if it's just for Mondays, having Jon Stewart back in that chair feels like putting on a warm sweater on a freezing day. It feels like coming home. Why does it matter? Because we needed to be reminded that looking at the news with a critical eye is healthy. We needed his specialized blend of empathy and outrage. We needed to see that gray beard and hear that familiar scratchy voice tell us, I know it's bad, but we're going to get through it, and we're going to laugh at the absurdity of it along the way. The bottom line, Jon Stewart changed comedy forever because he refused to stay in his lane. He refused to believe that a comedian couldn't also be a journalist, an advocate, and a moral compass. He taught an entire generation that apathy is not an option. He made us smarter, he made us kinder, and he made us laugh when we really didn't want to. That is a legacy that goes far beyond ratings or Emmys. That is a legacy of humanity. I'd love to hear from you. What is your absolute favorite Jon Stewart moment? Was it a specific interview, a monologue, or maybe a sketch with Stephen Colbert? Drop a comment below. Let's reminisce about the goat of political comedy.